Hello, everybody. Welcome to today's episode. My name is Anita. Before you dive into today's episode, I would like to introduce you our life coaching services.
That's right. So our services are very unique because they are done in Chinese and in English. They are mindset and life coaching services that will help you discover who it is that you really want to be and also what it is that you really want in
life. Exactly. 没错。所以我们的 life coaching 课程呢，都是有中文跟英文的。这些课程都可以帮助你探讨你真正内心想要的东西是什么，你今天真正是谁。所以呢，可以创造你真正想要的生活。所以如果你有兴趣的话，欢迎留言给我们，或者是去我们的网站跟我们联系。
对，没错，或者是可以加我们的 line 都可以。好，拜。
享受今天的 episode 吧。
This is episode 94, talking about gratitude from a scientific point of view. Anita is going to be the main host today. Welcome, everyone. This is Eric, and we are here at Taiwanica Podcast, welcoming the one and only Anita that's going to help us learn more about why gratitude is so important and also its scientific benefits that have been discovered. I'm very excited about learning this, and I can't wait for what we're going to unpack together. Anita, thank you so much.
Hello, everybody. This is Anita. Welcome to today's episode. This is going to be a fun one because most people think about, gratitude practice is kind of just like, spiritual practice. It's some kind of magic power to it. But actually today we are going to unpack what are the benefits from the scientific point of view. So it will be very, very easy for everybody to comprehend and immediately practice right now.
Wonderful. Let's get started. What is something about gratitude that science has discovered that you want to share with us today?
Yeah, like gratitude, right? But gratitude practice is very simple. You just put your mind for a few seconds or minutes to something that you are grateful for. It could be something so small and simple like a wonderful coffee in the morning. You can just take a moment and say, I'm so grateful for this wonderful, delicious coffee in my hand, right? So that's basically the gratitude practice. So what we're actually doing in our mind is you just train your brain, literally train your brain to redirect and reframing the fact, right? So that's what we've been teaching and learning at the same time. Like, you can wake up one day without awareness about what's going on in the world, or you can pick up the things that really matters to you and you address it for a few seconds. That's what keeps you moving, keeps you move forward, right? So if you wake up in the morning, you just start your gratitude practice saying, I'm so grateful for this wonderful cup of coffee. You're starting your day with a wonderful feeling. So when you are doing this, you're teaching your brain to focus on the things that gives you joy. That's usually what we're doing, right? We only send our gratitude to the things because deep down we feel joyful. So you're teaching your brain to just focus on those things to keep happening to you. Just bring the awareness and the focus to the things that really matters to you.
Interesting. So what you're saying is that if I practice saying I'm grateful for a cup of coffee, or I'm grateful for this beautiful sunny day, every time these things happen again, I'm going to automatically feel more positive towards those circumstances. And also I'm going to be aware that these are really important to me at the same time.
Exactly. If you can notice what is really matters to you, your mind and your brain will immediately go search this and present it to you, because your brain is a problem-solving mechanism, right? It works for like solving problems. So if you just pay attention to the things that brings you joy and make you feel grateful for, then your brain will start to find out those things to, show up in your life. So you mentioned about something that's really important, which is you just start to get used to good things that happen to you, because whatever you're thinking Either it's a thought you want to get that 珍珠奶茶, or your thought of saying, I'm going to learn a new language. Doesn't matter which one. You are sending the electric signal to your brain. That's how your brain works, right? And that's like, oh, I really want to get that 珍珠奶茶. So your brain say, oh, I know. So now you have to get up and go to the store, order 珍珠奶茶. You'll be very happy, right? That's a problem-solving process. Same thing for the language learning. It's the same. Oh, you want to learn a foreign language, and now you have to do the research, maybe find a tutor, so on and so forth. Right, so that's how your brain works. Either way, even though you're thinking about a good thing or a bad thing, that's how your brain just, started to work.
It's interesting that you just said bad thing, and that was something that I wanted to ask you is when I'm thinking about something negative and I want to express gratitude towards it, is this dangerous? Because am I telling my mind to be aware of this negative thing and I'm going to be attracting that negative thing to happen again in my life? Or am I doing something else?
That's a really good question. It's very dangerous for you to just either surpass or overlook the negative event or the things that make you have negative feelings. That's very dangerous because one, you are suppressing your feeling and you suppress your emotion. We already know that's not the best way to treat your emotions. So how are we going to incorporate gratitude practice when we're noticing negative feelings? Right. I said it. I mentioned about that. It's about reframing and redirect. Like I said, if you just wake up one day, you didn't have any awareness. Your day was still going. The whole point of practicing gratitude, that is, you give yourself a better momentum. You are giving yourself kind of like the energy juice. Like you give yourself the gas to move forward. That's positive. So one positive thing will lead to another one. So now if you, the same thing, right? If the things that happen that gives you negative feelings and you wanted to practice gratitude on this thing, it's very great. Because not only right now you are practicing gratitude, you're also building your resilience. Because life is not about just happy, happy, joy, joy all the time, right? It's about how we overcome difficult challenges. So when the negative things happen, makes you feel negative, you can say, I'm aware this thing bothers me, but right now I am very grateful for this thing happened to me because I learned this, and that. So you are redirect your mind to focus on, once again, how you overcome this discomfort experience, and teach your body how to see things from a very different perspective. So not only you can help yourself get out of the negative spiral, and also you can train your mind saying, okay, I can always show up in a better, more resilient version of myself. That's another benefit of doing this gratitude practice.
I see. So it's very much into the idea that no matter if it's a negative or positive thing that just occurred in your life, practicing gratitude helps you have awareness about what just happened. And that awareness can guide you to either generating more positive things and avoiding the negative things from occurring again because they're just happening outside of your awareness. But this gratitude is the stepping stone to help you open your awareness. So if that's the case, then my next question about awareness is gratitude. What are some tactics that you would recommend people to do to help generate more gratitude in their life? Is there like a method that you like to use on a daily basis that you think is really helpful, or maybe you have learned something along your way to help you practice gratitude that you'd like to share?
Well, thank you so much for asking. Just like every important thing in your life, you're gonna make time for it, right? Like dinner time, spend quality time with your family, with your kids, so on and so forth. If it is important, you're gonna make time for it. So same thing for this gratitude practice. because you are training your brain to redirect and reframing how you view the world and how to view the things that actually happen in your life, always from the more powerful point of view, right? That's why it will help you with your resilience. So if you wanted this to be part of your life, you just gonna make time for it, just like you make time to go to the gym. So the best way to do it is you set a time for it. For example, the first thing you do in the morning, when you first wake up in the morning, you find 3 things that you're grateful for. Or before your bedtime, what are the 3 things that you're grateful for today, or even before mealtime, right? So you have to find a set time for it. And that's what I usually do. Before bedtime, that you can start journaling, like, let's look at today. Sometimes something that happened today wasn't ideal, but I'm still grateful for, that the situation is over and I'm able to survive. I'm able to survive through the situation. So always looking to your life at the more powerful way, then you can start it to train your brain. Like your brain will get used to always look at the things from the positive side of the fact, and more powerful, more supportive, more constructive way to see things. So you just have to make time for it and incorporate with the things that you like. For example, somebody likes to do walking after dinner. When doing your walking hour, just open your mind, open your eyes as well. Like, what are the things that you're grateful for? Right? Maybe just the tall trees that you used to not pay attention to these tall trees. But today you look at these majestic trees and just like, I'm so grateful for this tree. You're so beautiful. Simple as that. Right?
And by doing that, you're going to, in the future, not only look at that one tree thinking it's majestic, but then later on, you're going to see other things in nature that are majestic, because you're training your brain to look out for majestic things.
Exactly.
That's very cool.
Yeah.
So now, what is something that with gratitude that has happened in your life that was a significant change that you would be willing to share with us today? Like an example that might be is like before you did gratitude practices, there was this constant problem that was occurring in your life. But then as soon as you started doing this gratitude practice, you noticed a big shift. To give something like a testimonial of doing gratitude is great.
Well, the first example that came up to my mind is the traffic in Taiwan.
Okay.
Well, it's very convenient. Nobody's gonna argue with that. But at the same time, it's very dangerous. This is the most common feedback we're gonna say about traffic in Taiwan. So I was also, every time around the street, especially in rush hour, my mind was like, oh my God, this is so dangerous. It's so dangerous. This is going to be a car accident happen. Oh my goodness. This is my mind going down a spiral, right? So and this time I would just practice gratitude. Especially with my son, when you're a mom, then you're going outside, seeing the environment seems very, very unfriendly to your little child, and your mother instinct will kick in. That's why you feel like worries and doubts and seeing the world as a dangerous place. But that's not how I wanted to view the world, right? And so I used the gratitude practice. Actually, it's very challenging in the beginning because you're like, I don't see anything I can be grateful for. Right. But once you start asking this question, like I said, your brain is problem solving, it works that way. So when you first start asking, like, even when you cannot say the sentence saying, I'm grateful for this and that, you just you ask yourself, what am I grateful for right now? When you start this question, even though the situation seems very against the idea that you wanted to practice gratitude. But once you start asking this evoking question, your mind, your brain will find the answer. Your brain will literally like scan the whole thing. I'm grateful that I'm still holding my son's hand crossing the street, right? I'm grateful that I get to protect my son. So once you start doing this, more things that can brings you peace. So that's another benefit when you start practicing gratitude. as you find the peace in your mind. So once you can find peace in your mind, and then that's just the rest is just projection. Like you see everybody on the street before you see them as driving crazy on the street. Now they were just like you. They wanted to go home and spend time with their families. So you also have more compassion towards them. So this is kind of like a ripple effect, right? So you start not to give them dirty looks. And when everybody who's driving past by you, you show some, nice gesture, like by showing them some smiles on your face. Maybe they smile back. And also share the peace at that moment. Right. So it's a ripple effect. And now when I'm on the street, I'm just doing the same thing, the gratitude practice. And then I'll just bring myself in this peaceful mind.
Well, that is very nice sharing. And, what I'm hearing right now is that you could even in that situation look at the traffic and be grateful for it. I'm grateful for this traffic, that it is reminding me how important it is to keep my child safe. Mm-hmm. Or I'm grateful for this traffic because it reminds me that if I'm going to drive, I'm going to drive safely.
Safely, yeah.
Yes. So in any way, whatever what you do with gratitude, whether it's positive or negative, you're going to be able to find a way to perceive a even greater version of life that you want to start focusing on instead of lingering in the problem.
Right. Yeah, I think the big effect about this thing is if you're not practicing gratitude at the moment, you just let the environment decide how you're going to feel. And most of the time is your past experience. Why do I say, what in my mind said, like, the traffic in Taiwan is dangerous? Because when I was a kid, I saw so many car accidents. But now, to be honest, it's relatively less, way less than when I was a kid. And then, if I just keep on using my past experience to project my current situation, I'm not going to get out of there. And one thing that you can help you and your brain to grow is to challenge it. So that's what I say. When you start challenging your brain, right, you're asking questions. That's how we feel a sense of achievement. When we are students, we are solving like really, really complicated math equation, for example, or trying to memorizing very complex history. When we were a kid, we all been through the school system and asking us to remember everything, which year having certain war in the history, whatever that might be, right? You keep challenging yourself to learn the unknown. Just like so many challenges. And right now, when you're doing a gratitude practice, it's also the same. You're challenging your brain. And that's a good thing because that's how your brain grows stronger and more resilient. And also that will help you just get familiar with always seeing the things from a very strong standpoint of view.
Well, very interesting. And I'm glad to hear that with these kind of very easy gratitude practices, that in just a moment of time, it doesn't matter where you are or what you're doing. Every time you practice this, you are in a sense choosing the life that you wish to have rather than getting stuck in a negative pattern that you accidentally created before. And that means you are growing and developing into more of which way you actually wish to go rather than just listening to the old voice in your head. So that's very interesting. So what would you say is one last thing as a takeaway or a highlight of gratitude that you would like to share with everybody to close off this episode?
Yeah, we always like praise the action of gratitude practice, but I think everybody should understand what's the fundamental reason why we are encouraging people to do this. That is very simple, to help you have a peaceful mind. When you have peaceful mind, you will just have easier life. When you have an easier life, you just have happy day-to-day lives with your friends and families. You just have the capacity, mental capacity, to enjoy the things that really brings you joy, right? So it's, again, one simple action can lead to so much, so many benefits. So I think today's takeaway that is using your brain power. That's basically what you're doing. Accelerate your mental energy to focus on the things that you want. Because so often we were just complaining about our days, and complaining is just you educate your brain to focus on the negative things. Like I said, either it's a positive things or negative things, you are sending the same amount of electric signal to your brain. Depends on how intense that is. So if you're very intense about complaining about things, that's how your brain just get used to your thinking patterns. Like, oh, you want your day to be miserable. All right, let's make it happen. And the same thing, the same amount of energy, if you just focus on the things that brings you joy, your brain can reciprocate it and just, okay, you wanted your day to start with a really nice coffee, right? Or like really nice things that makes you feel joyful. Let's make it happen. So it's about reframing the truth in your life and also redirect your mind to look at the things that really can help you feel peaceful, joyful, and happy. So that's the fundamental reason why we promote gratitude practice.
Well, thank you very much for that final note on gratitude. I think it's a really important thing to understand. Now, I have one last question for you, and then we're going to call it good today. Anita, what is one challenge in your life right now that you are grateful for?
Definitely my husband.
Sounds like a great guy.
I mean, it's unfair to say just one person. I should say it's everything because everybody know that we are doing everything together. We've been juggling through a lot of challenges in our life. I think, it appeared to be overcoming difficulties over and over again, but I'm grateful that we can survive each fight and get to know more about ourselves and each other's and still get back up and try to find a solution and keep working. I'm truly grateful for you and this podcast and everybody who's listening.
And I'm also grateful for you.
This pod.
Yeah.
You should.
It's not a should. It's a pleasure. And this podcast, and of course, all of you lovely listeners. So what is something that you are grateful for? Think about a couple things in your life today that are either good or bad, and just connect with that and try to find a way to reframe it, like Anita said. And when you do that, you'll certainly find that you are growing as well. And if you feel so willing to share, find a way to connect with us, either through our line or through our IG. The links are in the description below. So if you'd like to do that, we would love to hear from you. So that's going to be it for today's episode. Anita, thank you so much for taking the time to be here and expressing gratitude.
You're so very welcome.
All right. Well, then we will see you all next time.
See you next time.